and it's Friday, 5:30 in the p.m. in the afternoon, and this is your host, Danny Davis, for the next 25 minutes of Hotline 21. You know, information is good for the soul. Knowledge is power. Knowing what is real helps to make life complete. So I welcome the opportunity to come and to share a bit of information with you. This has been a rather eventful week in Washington, District of Columbia. In the history, quite frankly, of the United States of America. After being at odds relative to a budget, you can't operate and function if you're not convened, if you're not in session. Much of the government can go on, but if you're not making decisions, chances are you're going to get way behind and you're going to be playing catch up. If you think that playing catch up is easy, ask an athlete who's on a basketball team, and at the end of the first quarter, the score is 42-20, and that is the other team is 22 points ahead. And in order for you to even get in the game and feel like you've got a chance, you got to play catch up. So trying to stay even or close or ahead. We did reach an agreement. Most members of Congress in both houses voted for it. And there were some people who voted against it, and it's their right. And there are many citizens who wanted people to vote against it. But each member have to make up their own mind and make their own decisions. I thought it was time to send a signal to our fellow Americans that it was time to make some kind of an agreement. You see, politics is not just my way or the highway or this person's way and the highway. People often start at extreme ends in thinking and thoughts about something. And they reach some agreement that will bring them closer together rather than driving them further and further apart. So I'm characterized and thought of in some people's minds as being a moderate, liberal thinking individual, meaning that I think one's rights have to be protected to the hilt, and that one has the responsibility to try and press forward for what they believe in. But at the same time, I believe that one can compromise, give a little bit. When I was a kid, there was a popular song that said you gotta give a little bit, take a little bit, let your poor heart break a little bit. That's the story of, that's the glory of, that's the meaning of love. And so love is not one-sided, one way. You can still maintain your dignity. You can still fight. Fight on. to keep driving ahead. I remember the song, Am I a Soldier of the Cross, a follower of the Lamb? So you gotta fight. I used to love to hear the preacher give that hymn out. Or the onward Christian soldiers marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Well, let's go to the phone, take our first caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, Connie Davis?
James, I am good. How are you?
Okay.
Are you keeping warm?
Yeah, I'm keeping warm.
All right.
It's supposed to snow this Sunday for Connie Davis. I'm glad that God answering your prayer, but everything is coming true. God is trying to show you He answering your prayer, and all this is coming out. It's still gonna come out, Connie Davis.
Well, you know, God, in the minds of those who believe, is all power, is so high you can't go over him, so wide you can't go around him, so low you can't go under him. And so I am a believer, and so I appreciate what you're saying.
Because okay, now God is still showing you, because He's the Lord got the last word.
He does indeed, and you know, we always say that, and I don't question what people believe, because all things are possible if you believe and when you believe. And so I just try to believe and do the best that I can and keep on moving. So thank you so much, James. It's always a pleasure. And stay warm. And we are ready if we've got another call waiting. If not, I got some announcements and so forth that I want to make. There are a lot of good things going on. Thursday, February the 21st at the Quinn Chapel AME Church. You talk about Black history. You are talking about a historical church. They're going to be there from 12 to 2. They will even feed you, trying to get you to come to a meeting, be a part. And of course, the American History Month celebration, the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, and the National Association of Letter Carriers are going to be celebrating African Americans in the labor movement Monday, February the 18th, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the National Association of Letter Carriers Union Hall. Please come and be a part of this. Brother Max Julian is the president of the letter carriers and is greatly responsible for putting this together. Sunday, Congressman Danny Davis and Sankofa, we're going to have our Black History program at the Gospel Temple, Church of God in Christ. That's going to be at 4 o'clock at 3855 West Harrison Street. Everybody is welcome, and I look forward to it. I look forward to as many Black history things as we can come in contact with. And next Sunday, the 24th, we're going to be right down the street at the Mile Square Health Center where we are going to be celebrating black pioneers in health and medicine. It's all free. It begins at 3 o'clock, and we will have lots of outstanding physicians and doctors and nurses and health practitioners, and then we give you a little unsweetened Kool-Aid or something at the end of it, because you need to cut down. Most of us do on sugar. But come on out next Sunday, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock rather, at the Mile Square Health Center right there at Roosevelt Road and Wood Street. There are a lot of other things going on as well, but this is the political season. The election is upon us, and make sure that you are getting ready to vote, and make sure that you do vote, and try and determine for yourself who best represents what I want to see happen in the city of Chicago. That's all you got to do, and you ain't got to think so hard that you get a headache. You just try to figure it out. And then you're not sure until you see the results. But you got to put a little faith in some of these people. Go out and vote for them, and then try and hold them accountable once you have done so. We are, there are just so many things going on. People are already lining up, getting ready to run for office for the 1920 elections. There are so many candidates on the Democratic side until you can't hardly count them. I guess there's probably already 10 or 12 candidates. But all of that represents change. You see, there used to be a time when you would not have had that many individuals willing to be vying for the presidency of the United States of America. Please don't just sit back and let things pass you by and you didn't participate in it and all that kind of stuff. Be an activist. And if you don't want to be an activist, at least be learned. But I can tell you one thing, watching TV, I watch the news and all that kind of stuff, but I'd much rather be out making news rather than watching things happen. I'd rather be involved in helping to make things happen or causing things to happen. There are two kinds of people in the world. There are those who shape and mold, and then there are those who are shaped and molded. There are people who have things decided for them, and then there are other people who decide things, who cause things to be, as opposed to just looking at what goes by. Let's see what our caller got to say. Caller, are you there?
Yes, Congressman, and how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm not too cold, but I'm all right.
But it's still a great day to be on God's green earth.
It sure is.
All right, I'm going to give you a little quick chuckle. I said to my wife, I said, guess what? Congressman going to have Donald Duck with him today on TV. She laughed. She said, I told you you've been a fool all your life. But I guess I have. It would have been nice to see him there sitting next to you, because I know It ain't enough time for 30 minutes for you to take all these calls.
He'd probably declared a national emergency if he was driving down 19th and Wood Street.
Let me tell you, he wouldn't dare come to Chicago. He wouldn't dare come to Chicago for no reason at all. But, I want to just say something, what you stated earlier, about some people should be able to believe in certain things. Certain people should have good thoughts of everything. But you know what? I think that some politicians forget about their constituents. It ain't about what their constituents might want. It's what they want. So somewhere along the line...
That's so unfortunate. I spoke to a lady today, and she was telling me all the feelings that she had, that politicians just ignore her neighborhood. They don't pay no attention to it. They only come around when there's an election. And I felt so bad listening to that kind of feeling. And actually, she lives not far from where I'm sitting right now. She lives in the Obla community, which is just right a little bit to the south of where we are, and it's a little bit east of where we are.
Is the project still over there?
Oh, yeah.
You know what, though? But listen, and I hope that young lady is listening to you today. And if you are a voter, you're doing your duty. But what we need to do is get more people out to vote. And not just the older people. We need to start getting younger people to come out and vote. Have some kind of sense of, if you got holes and crimes and no lights and everything on, why do these people keep on still voting for them?
But shouldn't it be just more involvement? Voting to me is one part of the involvement, but problems require a lot of massaging and lots of talking about in order to come up with answers. Like, look at this answer. There are people who say that unemployment is so low in this country until you can't find enough people to do the work that needs to get done. And yet, in the communities where we live, unemployment is so high unto people just living in poverty. How can we change? An alderman can get elected.
Some things you gotta, it's accountability that you put on yourself too. It's not like I used to be in the 60s. You could get fired for one job or quit and go down the street and get you another job. And another thing, we need to start teaching the younger people manual labor is gone. You got to get technology in, but yet and still, there's still jobs to do. But if you don't want to go to school, what can you learn?
Ford Motor Company is going to put $1 billion on the southeast side of Chicago into their plants that are there. And they're going to increase work opportunities. Jobs are going to be available. They're going to be building a new Explorer. And, individuals ought to be trying to figure out, how do I get myself one of those jobs?
Listen, they should be at the alderman's office. They should be camping out. I would be looking for, this is me, I'll be looking for somebody who who worked there, who maybe knows somebody just to try to help me But again, people need to seek. People need to learn. But again, I don't know how this world going to keep on going with the way it is, but it has to be a change.
But a lot of folks are really doing all right. I'm saying there are a lot of people in this world who are doing just fine. They're living longer. Their status of health is good. They drive good automobiles. They got plenty of food. They are warm. They got plenty of beverages to drink, and they're doing all right.
Would you want that life? Would you want that life? I love it. I love it. I don't mind. Listen, again, paying taxes or paying a little something extra. I don't mind. I really don't mind because it's to help the other person. But see, again, people complain too much. They always look for something for nothing. But again, I want to hear one thing. You're supposed to announce who you're voting for. So don't hang up because I want to say something afterward. Who are you voting for the mayor?
I am going to vote. Well, see, the problem with announcing before you announce is that the media then don't have to cover.
Then you know what? And that's a silly question too. I'm sorry to even put you in a predicament like that. I am so sorry, and you shouldn't. But listen, and I don't mind. It were 3 candidates that I thought that probably would have a chance. And we know it's going to be a runoff. So again, I'm going to vote for someone. As a matter of fact, I already voted. And I don't mind saying who I voted for.
All right, but see, I try not to do personally partisan politics.
There you go.
On this show.
And that's what makes you so nice. But one day I'm going to come over that office and hear you and Crystal talk. And then you could put a buzz in my ear or let Crystal know so she could tell me.
Now, you can tell us who you're going to vote. You've already voted.
Yes, I did.
Now, you can tell us who you voted for,
I voted for Daly.
All right.
But see, I know it's going to be a runoff. And I figured it was between 4 politicians. People who's running, and I see only truly one black person that might be into the runoff. Well, maybe 2. It's a great possibility too. I think Daly gonna be in the runoff. I think Chico gonna be in the runoff. Tony gonna be in the runoff, and maybe your guy from the west side, the minister, he might also be in the runoff. It's a great possibility.
Now I think Tony is leading in the poll. Well, polls come out every day.
You're right.
And
I don't look at polls.
But don't you think that the wealthy people are kind of teaming up together and putting a lot of their money in the same place?
Well, I think so. You know.
Well, if wealthy people can team up, then if poorer people want to counteract that, they need to team up also.
But people don't know how to team up. Listen, let me get out there.
All right.
I know somebody want to say something to you. And listen, Congressman, have a great day, safe day, and just make sure you get back here next week.
Thank you so much, and please stay warm, and I'm going to be here all week. Do we have another caller before it's time to go? Well, it's really about time to go.
Can I say this?
Yes.
When we elect the Democrats, be sure to bring back the YDs, your young Democrats. This is educational time.
All right. Now, let me tell you, these elections are nonpartisan. The municipal election is nonpartisan. So people don't have to vote for a Democrat or Republican. They just vote for the people. All right, was that our last call? Because we'll take another one if the time is gone. All right, then
Hello?
but yes.
Yeah, it's one quick question. I don't know if it's a question or not, but are we looking at the continuation of a dynasty with Daley coming back in, coming into office, one Daley going out, another coming in?
I think
Is there anything suspect about that?
I don't think so because there has been in between, and while there's some people who are projecting that Daley may win, I don't think I'm ready to make any kind of
Qualify as a dynasty,
projection.
no?
But I tell you, I don't believe in dynasties. There are families where people have been able to get elected, and Daley didn't give himself $1 million. Somebody else did, and
Well,
I'm not against wealthy people being in control, but I think we need a mix of people in control. And I don't want to see a society that's totally run by the wealthiest people in the society, because I think they think a certain way, other people think a certain way, so I think we need a mix. All right, we'll talk about it next week, and then eventually we'll see exactly what happens. Thank you so much. It's been great. It always is. Look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, stay warm. As warm as you can.